Welcome to Sacred Success, the alchemy of spiritual business, where Michelle Barr talks to conscious entrepreneurs and spiritual seekers about creating a better life and a better business now. Building your own business is the most intensive personal and spiritual growth and development course you could ever enroll in. And that's why Michelle does the work she does for you. We're glad you're here with Michelle Barr on the OMTimes Radio Network.
You here today. This is Michelle Barr, your sacred business success coach. I am a business coach, an intuitive strategist, and a mindset mentor. And I am talking to you today about all things about building your business, creating a better business, and creating a better life. I have so much manifesting going on around here right now that I wanted to do a show for you about it. Manifest what you really want right now. That's what I'm going to talk about today. This is something I've been talking about and teaching for a while now. The best time to teach you about this is when it's actively happening in my life. And it really is right now. Over the years, it has gotten better and better the more I've learned to do some things. So I want to teach that to you. I want to share that with you while I'm really swimming in the energy of it. And I invite you to come find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle B. Barr. Dialogue with me about it. Ask me your questions. Let's really get into this. I'm telling you, I turned my life into an experiment for the law of attraction in 2003. And I have been studying this stuff now for over a decade and building a life I love. And in the past 4 years, it has gotten bigger, better, and easier. So I've really got this thing. It has grown me like nothing else. I've been teaching and talking about it since about 2009 or 10. I built a local business first, and then I built an online global business. But my very first business, I talk about a lot, was a very expensive hobby, and it has turned into what I do, helping people transform your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business with the marketing to make it work and the mindset to make it happen. So I really want to get into this manifesting today so you understand it, because there are a lot of things going on when you're building a business and building a better life. You definitely have to get the marketing. You have to understand the strategy. This is my soapbox. I tell y'all all the time, I have not been without a coach since 2009, and I wouldn't be. It's getting that help, getting that training, learning. The other piece is taking action, getting into aligned action. Doing those things, opening the channels. The universe does its part. Boy, does it ever. You have to do your part first, and you have to open channels, because the universe delivers money and results to us through people. That's the way it is. Yes, I have manifestations where things come out of nowhere and drop into my lap. And I also have manifestations where I have to see the opportunities and act on those opportunities. So going back with me to 2003, things were a mess. I'd had a series of jobs I didn't love. Yes, I could do things in those jobs, and I was raising children. I had 3 children at home and a husband working hard. So I just kept doing what I thought I needed to do, was supposed to do, could do. Then I'd get in those jobs and I'd try to do what I'm made to do. And I was interacting and engaging with people when they needed me, but that wasn't my job, and that's not what I was being paid to do. I ended up with a very serious, debilitating, frustrating, and painful illness for 7 years that went undiagnosed. And here's the best part. Once I stepped out and started doing my work, it went away and it never came back. You just can't make that stuff up. My marriage was really struggling. One of my children was in therapy. Our whole family was in therapy. My husband and I with my children. Our lives were a mess. Nobody was happy. I had that illness going on. My husband had stress. My children were acting out. Nothing was going right. I didn't love my life. I wasn't happy. Along came the law of attraction, and I really started looking at it. And I know it's controversial. There are both sides because at the time I was a mental health therapist. So I'm really into emotional and mental healing and emotional and mental management and health and wellness. And what I saw was a lot of people wanted to buy into the law of attraction, but they weren't fully understanding it. Anytime you take universal laws and ancient principles that are found in sacred texts that have been passed down throughout the ages and you try to feed them to the mainstream the way they did with The Secret, I love it because it opened it up to the mainstream. At the same time, you just can't encapsulate all of it. So I saw a lot of people get disappointed and frustrated, and they backlash and they said, this doesn't work, or it just doesn't work for me. They'd hear other people's success, or they'd try a tool or two. But this is about changing your life. This is about engaging. You step in and you don't step out. So you have to be with all of it. I'd see people start little manifesting circles, and they'd get together once a week and they'd do their manifesting, and then they'd wonder why that didn't work, and they'd step out of that circle and they'd go back right into their toxic relationships, toxic environments, right back into their old patterns and beliefs and habits. That's what you're communicating to the universe. They weren't taking aligned action. They weren't changing. So people started saying it's a scam, it doesn't work for me. And I ended up creating my business because I was a personal transformation and crisis and trauma specialist. And I saw people getting into crisis. Well, if you know anything about me, and if you've been in my world at all for any length of time, or if you're new to my world, know that I never ask you to do anything that I haven't already done for myself and that I'm not willing to do. So I always go first, and I always start, and then I teach you once I've done it. So first, I just turned my life into an experiment for the law of attraction. I didn't even know at that time I was going to have a business. That came along the way. I knew I'd always been called to be me, be authentically me, work for myself. I'm really at this point unemployable. So the very last job I had, I've not been employed by anyone else since 2006, which I love. And that job I came out of pretty quickly because the universe by then was like, no. So if I could let you know two things that we're going to start with that I want in your mind as we talk about this, the number one thing I had to learn how to do was leave the hows to the universe. Now, I have 9 universal guiding principles that guide my life and guide my business, and I made them into a poster for you, and you can find them at 9universalguidingprinciples.com. You can put it up online, put it on your computer screen, you can print it out and hang it in your space. So again, these are things tested over time that I put into these words and these principles, and they're what I go to for everything. You can spell that as NINE, or you can just write the number 9. Either way, 9universalguidingprinciples.com. And leave the house to the universe is one of them. So the difference in that, what I'm going to talk to you about that I have manifested in my life right now, is something where I left the house to the universe so much. It happened so quickly. I wasn't even ready for it. And you're going to find out more about that. The house and neighborhood I live in right now, I manifested 3 years ago, manifested it pretty quickly and easily because, again, I left all the house to the universe. Before that, I made a major move and transition where I did not. And I had a lot of struggle and a lot of suffering and a lot of pain. And I ended up sitting on the couch for a year I talk about this. I'm just real open about it. I sat on the couch for a year, frozen, paralyzed, numb. I watched a lot of Lifetime movies. I sat in my pajamas a lot, and I ate a lot of ice cream. I went through a serious transformation, and when a lifeline was thrown to me, thank goodness I grabbed it, and Spirit pulled me out of that, and I see the hand in that all along the way. You have to start asking. You have to start asking for what you want. Ask and it is given. It works. It's found in every sacred text. Again, people have lost faith in it and lost hope in it because it is always given the minute you start asking. I'm going to talk to you about my IOA formula for success because it's how to engage with that when you start asking, things start showing up. So I'm going to talk to you about that. Another one is vision, getting in your vision. Spending time knowing what you want. So visioning and then asking, leaving the house to the universe. I did a lot of visioning, and I'm going to talk to you about that because I'm going to give you the example that's happening in my life right now. I have lots of friends, clients, and colleagues who've said to me for a couple of years now, you are such a manifester. You manifest like crazy. And even they cannot believe what is going on in my life right now, what I've just manifested. It is something else. And that's why I thought it's time to talk to y'all about this again. I really want you to think about that. Leave the hows to the universe. That means your part is to tell the universe what you want. And the universe's part is to deliver it in the way that is your best and highest good. So the more you can do that, the more you get out of your own way. I want you to think about that while we take a quick break, and I will be right back with more manifesting what you really want right now.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Imagine magnificence. Do you live to your unlimited potential? Join me, Margaret Ann Lembo. Awaken your consciousness. Listen to Money Magnet Moment, Gem Spot Affirmations, Essential Aromatics, and Looking Skyward Astrocast, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
The cutting edge of conscious radio. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hello, welcome back. This is Michelle Barr with Sacred Business Success on OMTimes Radio Network. Do you know I'm here every week, and you can go into the archives at Radio OMTimes and pull up all the past shows. And you can download them or listen to them online. So if that's something you want to do, go over there and check that out. And then join me every week. We're talking about business, conscious business, marketing, mindset, a lot of what you can do first to really set yourself up for sacred business success. So today we're talking about manifesting. I had a few years ago, I created a 21-day email course for my people in my community, and I put it out there, and it takes 15 minutes or so every day for 21 days. It includes energetic activation in it, and it gives you something to think about and something to do every day for 21 days. And 21 days, because 21 days creates a habit, shifts neural net pathways, changes things. There's a lot out there about that. I call it my MOVE, my move process. It gets you into action, so you get into action and stay in action so you can create and then maintain. There's a lot you want to know about energy management, and this is where a lot of the law of attraction comes in. The energy management, so that you can make change, create transformation in your life, and then maintain it. Because again, people would create, sometimes you hear people, they'd get into a circle, or they'd read The Secret, or they'd do something, and oh my gosh, stuff came in right away. And then other people were like, how did that happen? But they couldn't maintain it. Or they'd make money and lose it, just like people who win the lottery. They've done so many studies on that. So this move process, I invite you to go through it for 21 days. It's a great place to start with what I'm talking to you about and teaching you about today. It's free. It's my gift to you. 21 days, you'll receive an email from me. You can get that at intuitivesuccesscoach.com. intuitivesuccesscoach.com. So go over there and get that, and then I'm going to talk to you today about my move formula, because this is a big part of the manifesting. So what happened was, I had a 5-year plan. My husband and I have learned to plan for our quality life, to plan ahead. And so when we saw we were going to become empty nesters, about 4 years ago, we started planning, what do we want our life to look like? So again, I've learned to do this, to start telling the universe what I want next. I was told by a very wise coach, when you find that you're living your dream, it's no longer your dream, and it's time to dream a new dream. So we had built this dream home and this dream life when we had our children at home, and that wasn't going to fit us anymore. It didn't fit me anymore, because I built this business where I was working from home with an online global business. I'd first had a local business in my community, so I was home a lot, and I wanted to be more in what I call civilization. I wanted neighbors again. We had been out on some land for a while, which had been part of my husband's dream. So I just started talking to my husband, let's dream together what we want for a quality life once we're empty nesters. So we would just talk about it. We'd talk about it when we were driving. We'd talk about it when we were sitting down to dinner. We'd talk about it in the evenings. We would just start talking about it. When I'd think of something, I'd say it. And that's the same way you want to talk to spirit and talk to that universal energy and to yourself, because then your subconscious gets it. So here's part of what happens. I'm a former psychologist. I still love it. I really bring all these pieces together, working with spirit, working with universal law, and what's going on in your body and your subconscious. And everybody believes basically the same thing. We just call it by all different names. So if you can be open-minded about that, when you tell your subconscious mind what is important, it will go out and start looking for that, and then it'll show you, here it is, pay attention. So I tell people it's like this. Have you ever been at a party or in a large gathering and you're talking to a group and you're aware that people are talking all over the room, but you're not listening to them. You're not paying attention. And then somebody says your name and you come to and you pay attention. It's like that. You are being bombarded with millions of bits of information and sensory information per second. So this is why it's so important to vision and say it. So I would think of something and I'd say, oh yeah, and our new neighbors, we're going to get together as couples. Oh yeah, we're going to have a bunco group, and I want to be in a neighborhood, and we blended what we both wanted. And it really came out of nowhere, but I had to see the opportunity. and an opportunity came. It was very weird. It was out of nowhere, and I never got stuck in the how. My husband and I never said, here's how it will have to go. Well, we don't have enough money right now, or what would we do? Or I bet this house wouldn't sell. Those are all the things we jump into right away, and a lot of them are very bad habits and bad energetic habits and family patterns. And I've learned to come out of those because here's the thing. I had a high desire to move and a high desire for those things. But if I don't put up resistance, it will come to me so much easier. So this was like dreaming, like, wouldn't it be wonderful if, imagine if, I already had a house. I was already fine. We had built it ourselves. I lived in a city I loved. Everything would have been fine. So I didn't have to have these new things. And that's when it comes the easiest. There are things we have a high desire for that we also have huge resistance about. And the key is to pay attention to your high desire, because wherever you have desire, a way has already been made. So your first task at hand is to recognize the resistance and to deal with the resistance. So I'm showing you in these examples, there just wasn't resistance. There's more resistance when I don't have a job and I would need a job. And then what happens? All kinds of obstacles and blocks, and you feel stuck and nothing's manifesting. So here again, I was planning. I've been in this house, in this neighborhood for 3 years. I created this. I bought the first lot. I created every neighbor. It is a neighborhood like no other, like nothing I've ever lived in. We have had incredible experiences here. My husband's in a job he loves. My business is getting better every year. So get this. We just started dreaming. Now, we said in 5 to 7 years, we want to go back to the Texas Hill Country. So we're dreaming, and this is in the future. So about 2 years ago, I get a lot of feelings, visions, things like that. I said, we're going to end up in Marble Falls. I need to go see it because I've never been there. I don't know what it's like, but I felt it so strongly. So again, I didn't question. I don't know. We said we want to go to the Texas Hill Country. This is coming up for me. We've never lived there. We've lived in other parts. There are other places I would have picked. So we were in that area and we went to visit. There's a famous cafe there. There's this famous restaurant. So we said, let's go down there and eat. So we're in the cafe thinking, this is where we'd be eating. This is our restaurant. Then we'd be driving down the roads. Well, this is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. A lake runs through the downtown, a real lake. It is beautiful. The Texas Hill Country is beautiful. So we're going on, and we even drive around a neighborhood. Oh, this would be a beautiful neighborhood. Oh, this would be a nice neighborhood. Well, then we were back in the area another time, and we started saying, let's just go see if there's land that maybe we could start manifesting and investing in some land that we could just sit on for the next 5 to 7 years, because right now you can still get land in the outlying areas. The other areas are really growing. So again, we're dreaming. We drive there. We look around. We're looking in the little realtor books. We're looking online. And we found this house, and we were like, this is just like the house we want to buy. This is beautiful. We love this. Okay, this is like what we want. Like if you're making your vision board. John Assaraf tells about this in The Secret. So I remembered that when this actually happened to me. I'll tell you in a second. So we went there a third time more recently. We were in the area again, and we went one more time to look at some land. And we were really starting to plan this. Then we came home. We got busy with our lives. Well, we had such high desire, and we were going there and actually standing in the place, and we were acting as if. You hear about act as if. Here is a great example of act as if. We'd gone there, we'd touched it, we'd talked about it, we'd looked, we were planning just for the future. Then suddenly it all opened up, because time and space are different when you're manifesting. So I wasn't even ready to leave yet, but the way this came together was amazing. This is a small town. The job my husband does, there's not a lot of demand in any town. There are limited places for him to work. When we got home, we're talking about, okay, I think I might want to move sooner. My husband was saying, I think I want to look for a job that's more my dream job. And I said, I will support you. He has supported me in every crazy business dream until my business really took off. And he continues to support me. And now I built a business I can work from anywhere. So I said, I will support you. Thinking next year, let's plan for next year. I said, go for it. So we sit down to eat dinner and he goes, I'm just going to see what's out there right now. And again, he is looking in a broad area, the Texas Hill Country. It is cities and miles and miles. And he opens his phone and he says, oh my gosh, my exact dream job that I just told you I wanted is in my dream resort town where you said 2 years ago you thought we were going to end up. And I just knew. And I said, go for it. Go in there right now and apply, because by now it's too many synchronicities. I don't believe in coincidences at all, but really, I said, go apply right now. 2 days later, we are on our way there. We live in a hotel for a week. He goes through a series of interviews and he gets offered the job and it starts immediately. So I'm moving in a few weeks. We are moving to our resort town, and he is getting his dream job. And the area is actually a great area for me, for my business too. I do some local stuff. Mostly my business is online and global. I have clients all over the world. So think about that. And I'm going to talk to you more about this so you can do it for yourself in just a minute. Michelle Barr, Sacred Business Success.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Dr. Kevin here. And I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
If you remember living fearlessly, joyfully, and in a world filled with adventure, happiness, pleasure, and unbridled living, then this show is for you. Join me, Dame Nicole Brandon, as I bring you the world's top experts in wealth, creativity, flow, seat-edging technology, space, wellness, health, love, lust, and passion, all merging together each week here at the Hub of Happiness. Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Passionate Living, where you can ride on a magic carpet ride of living and learn how to lead a passionately wild, exciting, and outrageously amazing life.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back. I'm so excited to be talking about manifesting today because it's such an amazing thing once you get it. To have lived my life in ways that I didn't love for so many years, and now to just create and recreate the life I love over and over again. Once you get it, it does feel like magic, but there is a science to it. And it takes you being a part of it. You're the integral part of it. So in the movie The Secret, and maybe in the book too, there's this part where John Assaraf is unpacking, moving into his new dream home. And his son pulls out a vision board he had made, I don't know how long before that, a while. And he says, "Daddy, this is the house on the vision board." And John had forgotten that. And John looked, and it was the exact house. Well, my husband and I have bought and are moving into that house we had on our computer that was a house like what we wanted. We are moving onto the lake in our dream house. That's how it works. Now, what I want you to see is, why did this happen so fast? A couple of things. We were leaving all the house to the universe because we weren't planning on doing this for a while. But the universe takes your asking and your vision and the essence of what you want, and because we're a couple, takes both of those into consideration because we, for a while now, have been planning, creating, visioning, and manifesting the life we want together. Again, part of the reason I think we had some struggles and times in those earlier years, we weren't doing that. And then you're fighting against just what you're creating and what I'm creating and a lot of that. So we got on that same page and that same energy. So we were leaving all the house to the universe. We were visioning, we were dreaming. We were acting as if, we were talking as if, we were planning it. And there just wasn't any resistance because he loves his job. He was just starting to plan next steps. I love where I live. I love my neighborhood. I love my job. This year it's bigger and better than ever. I love my work. I love everything. So there was never any, we have to get out of here. We have to get out. We can't do this anymore. All of that. So when I am full of gratitude and the happiest about where I am now, it was the easiest time to manifest. 5 years collapsed into now. And it's all unfolding so beautifully and so easily and so wonderfully. And I'm trusting. This one even shocked me. And I'm getting pretty used to this by now. And my husband is getting more and more used to living this way. It was very foreign for him, but it's still, this one was shocking, especially because I had so little time to move and it's a busy time for me. But you know how spirit, if you experience this for any amount of time, spirit is perfect in everything, in connecting all the dots, in connecting all the pieces. So things that I had put in motion, decisions I had made, plans that I had done that I didn't know specifically what for, all came together to support this. And I have been working on this body of work for a while now, Master the Art of Taking Action. And in 1 week, my book, The Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action, is being released by my publisher, and I will be in Miami at a book release, book signing, and giving a keynote speech on this very thing at a big live event. So how perfect that I have just done everything that I'm writing about and talking about in the book. So I told my husband already in just the past few weeks that I've been sharing this story with my community. It has been great for my business because it shows what huge and magical things can happen. It shows it right there. And I love that. You can find out all about my book at the Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action.com. The Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action.com. And I have a free chapter waiting there for you that is my IOA formula for success that you can get right now and read that chapter and get ready for the book. After it's released in Miami, it'll go online and you can buy it physically, or you can buy it as a digital book and all of that. And I'll be talking more about that, but that'll kind of put you in the know and get you started. So when I was talking about that, ask and it is given, manifesting and things show up, there was a lot of time I sat wasting time on the couch, making up stories about why I wasn't supported by spirit and telling all these stories. And then remember, whatever you say is. So once I made up those stories, then that's what had to play out. And I created a big mess for myself. And I have learned not to do that anymore. Asking it a given means you set a powerful intention. You get really clear and you set a powerful intention. Then you look immediately, you become hyper alert and you watch for opportunities. Sometimes channels have already been open. You've been following your inspiration. You've been following the breadcrumbs, as I say, and things fall in your lap. I have had things, money, jobs, people fall right into my lap when I needed them. But I can look back and see where I had already been creating those. But a lot of the time, opportunities show up and we can't see the opportunities sometimes, or we don't want to see them. They show up and they are not convenient. They are not comfortable. They are often not logical. I've learned to get past that when those are the best ones. And we don't know how we're going to do them, how we're going to step into them. But the opportunities show up. And these include every little thing, like suddenly you're reminded of somebody you haven't talked to in years, or you wonder, somebody comes to mind, you want to go see what they're doing. When I follow these breadcrumbs, they always pay off. Or somebody tells you to read a book or watch a movie, or I was sitting home on that couch and I kept saying, I got to get out of here. I got to do something. Then I'm invited to a luncheon. That's how my whole business started. I was invited to a luncheon. I didn't even want to get up and have to wash my hair and get dressed and go. I was in a sulky bad place, but I did, and it opened doors. Every single thing, and they don't have to make sense. I have lots of stories about those, and I share those with you all the time to show you. So leaving the house to the universe, no resistance, then bam, look. So IOA, you're setting a powerful intention. So again, you're setting intentions 24/7. Start being conscious about this. Start being consciously aware about these decisions you're making, because you're setting intentions all the time. So set a powerful intention and then track this. Track this over 30 days. Do one. I always do this with the moon cycle. I set one powerful intention on the new moon. I write it on an index card and I track it for 30 days. So I'm working with a natural cycle in my own body and in the pole of the universe that we live in, the planet we live on. And at the same time, I'm using these success principles that every successful person who teaches them talks about. Set that one powerful attention, then become hyper alert and be watching for opportunities to show up and step into every one of them. When an opportunity shows up, do not put it off. It doesn't mean it won't ever come back around or still be good, but in the moment it shows up first, all the doors, imagine a long hallway, all the doors are open and you can walk or run straight through. That's the time to act. And the more you do it, you'll see that you want to keep doing it that way. So intention, opportunity, and then taking action. So the other piece of this is taking aligned action. So with this particular example, it wasn't something I was going to create right now, but we were taking aligned action. We were looking at houses we could dream about. We were getting pictures in our mind. We were going there and visiting. I mean, first, think about this. I just got this vision and this feeling, I'm going to move to this place. Well, I want to go see it and know what it's like. I didn't have to know when, why, any of that. Once I got there, I saw how beautiful it was, and I just felt how right it was. And I was saying the whole time, this makes no sense. I know nobody here. I love the Texas Hill Country, but really, why here? I can't wait to find out why there. I'm sure amazing things are waiting the way this is all opened up. So that's what was going on. We were just taking those kind of actions. We started planning, well, let's look at land. No, I did not have money in that moment that I knew how much money I could spend on land. But you know what? I needed to know how much land cost. What if I wanted an acre? What if I wanted 5 acres? What could I get? Because then I can create it. That's another thing I've learned. Early in my business and all through my life, I would see something, oh, I really need that. And then I would say, oh, I can't afford that. Oh, I can't do that. Then I learned to say, tell me how much this investment is so I can create the money for it because I know I need it. I was just talking about this on Facebook yesterday, and it is very, very true, and it's a good one for you to get. The universe responds to true need. When investing in yourself, you don't need the money until you make the decision and follow through. The money will often not be there until you commit, and then it will show up for you. If you've never tried this, do it, and then you'll be asking yourself, why in the world was I doing it any other way? This has happened to me over and over again. It's how I came through my year of yes and passed the 6-figure mark in my business after never having made $50,000 a year in my entire life. Scary? Yes. Universal law? Yes. Someone I know who's a colleague and a friend that does similar to what I do, she said, I've lived this many times over. There's no need for the money until you decide and commit. Not if the money comes, then I'll invest. Nope, that kind of thinking keeps you stuck exactly where you are. Think about that.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Do you want to be a better communicator? Do you want to better connect with the important people in your life? Do you want to enrich your relationships? If so, join me, Matthew Cooper, on the Positive Control System Show every Wednesday evening at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on OMTimes Radio. I'll meet you there.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness and action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
We are back. Are you getting this? It's huge. I know it's huge. It's really big. And I've been working on it and perfecting it and tweaking it and learning as I go. But start now. That 21-day move email course that I have as a gift for you at intuitivesuccesscoach.com can get you started. It can break this down more than what I can tell you and teach you here today. You can also go to my website at michellebarr.com. I have a blog and I have tons of articles, and I always write about when this is playing out in real life in my life. So you'll be able to find all that there. I want to really talk to you about something about manifesting what you really want right now. There's something you want to ask first right now so you can be sure to create what you want. To create what you really want for the rest of this year. We're halfway through the year. It is time to decide. It's time to start asking. Setting intentions is great. Consciously creating what we want and creating much less of what we don't want, it's an empowering way to live, and it's really fun too. You have this calling, this nudging, these gifts, this connection to your higher self and to spirit, however you experience that. And the feeling is growing stronger. It's happening. Every day, people I see who are emerging spiritual teachers, leaders, the helpers and healers, the intuitives, the coaches, the speakers, the authors, they're showing up in my world and they're reaching out to me. I love that. I love to talk to you and explore how I can best support and guide you and how I can best serve you in your mission, your vision, your dreams, and the expression of your truth, because it's all of those, the kind of business I've created. When a new client comes to me, a new potential client, that's where we start. Your mission, your vision, your dreams, and the expression of your truth. You have a message inside of you that you feel compelled to bring into the world. It's the way to all the abundance you are seeking, all the joy you want to truly have in your life. I can tell you because I'm on that side of it. And I will continue to create bigger, better, more. I will continue to dream. Dream, then do. Extreme abundance comes from living your soul purpose full out. And here's the thing. People are waiting for you right now. People are waiting for you to step up so they can step in. It's true. I can tell you this for certain because I have been doing a lot of stepping up over the past years, and especially in 2014 and this year. And I just did a few weeks ago, right before all of this huge manifestation I'm talking to you about today showed up. And every time I did, more people showed up who were called to what I have to offer. The feedback I received is that people are being touched. Lives are being changed. And in the process, my life more than ever. That's the way it works, and I love it. And it's what I want for you, and it's what I can help you with. No more living where the highest good of all does not include you. That's a martyr, that's a slave, that's suffering. A lot of people in power who had an agenda about you living that way. Spirit does not want you living that way. The highest good of all has to include you, or it's not for the highest good. What I had to do first when I came to a critical crossroad is what you might be ready for right now that will change everything, that will unstick you and bring you to what you have been asking for. The energy is waiting for you to do this very thing first. Make a clear decision. Yes. Make a clear decision. Support yourself 100% and begin taking aligned action in that direction. That's where I come in, to support you, to guide you, to teach and train you, and to coach you to your own personal sacred success and sacred business success. Your own personal and business success. Don't let another day of this new year go by without putting your stake in the ground and declaring to the universe and yourself where you stand. Vision and start asking. Make a decision. How are you going to use your gifts? You know that if you're not using them, you'll be dissatisfied. You will lack the abundance you crave. You will be uncomfortable, and you will continue to feel called. You get to choose. That's the good news. So, are you going to use your gifts in a volunteer capacity and do other things to make money and support yourself? Some people do this. They use their gifts through nonprofits and organizations and churches. And that's great if you're consciously choosing to do that. But don't do that and then wonder why you don't have any money and why people aren't stepping up and paying you. Do not go out into the world and just give yourself away. Not one more minute, not one more second. It creates a lot of what you don't want. A lot of people do this, then resent it, then wear themselves out, then wonder why their lives aren't what they want to be living. Or are you going to do what you're called to do in the world as a hobby and fund this hobby through other means? Some people do this, but you need to be very clear that this is what you are doing. Otherwise, you mix up the energies for yourself and for those you serve. The worst thing you can do, because I did it, is to think you have a business and then find yourself running a very expensive hobby. Been there, done that. Once you make this very important and crucial decision, you open up and allow yourself to work with the energies that support you and your own life force energy. And you are able to attract to you what you want and make it successful. Otherwise, you end up with a mess. And that mess starts showing up in your life in a big way. I really want you to think about and get this. Because no matter what you want right now, no matter what's in your life right now that you don't want, no matter what you're trying to create, this is where it all starts. I started doing this before I ever even knew I was going to try to create a business. I was aware I wanted to do my work in the world my way at some point, and I've always had somewhat of an entrepreneurial spirit. But to bring in that business piece. So it's getting honest with yourself about what you're doing and what you want out of it. So you're not a victim, you're a creator. That way you can start creating a better life now. Live into the vision of how you want to be living. I'm telling you, I started my work in this direction knowing that one absolute was I was going to create a vision this time of the life I want to live, and I was going to create a business that supports and sustains it. My biggest pain is people creating a life that works around the work they're doing or the job they have, and they're not happy and they're sick and they don't love it. And they deplete themselves and exhaust themselves and wear themselves out and create all kinds of stories. Don't do this. Create a vision of the life you want to live. And then you can create a business that supports and sustains that life. That's what I do. That's what I've come to this place through all my life experiences, all my training, everything I've done so far to help you do. And that's what I want to help you do, to work with this, to start manifesting a better life and then create a business that supports and sustains that life. I come in with both because there were things I had to do personally and spiritually before I could ever even be the person to build that life. And building your own business is the most intensive personal and spiritual growth and development course you could ever enroll in. It will grow you like nothing else. I've come to learn the rewards and the payoffs are like nothing else. So I am willing and more than willing to do it. And I love it. And I love my life. I invite you to continue on this journey with me. Continue on this journey for yourself. Make a decision, own it, and support yourself 100%. That's where it all starts. I invited you earlier to come connect with me on Facebook. You can find me at Michelle B. Barr. You can find my business page at facebook.com, Michelle Barr Unlimited. I'm there. I show up there live every day, motivating, inspiring, educating, and informing. And so I want you to connect with me. Ask me questions. Let's talk about all this. Share with me what happens in your life after you listen to this show today. Connect with me. Get onto my list. Read my blog posts. Let's do this thing. I am so glad you were here with me today, and I will talk to you again soon. Come find me at michellebarr.com or from callingtocash.com. You have a great day. You have a decision to make and a fabulous life to create. Get to it.